Hello and welcome. My name is Sean Lothar, and this is Caregivers Wear Plaid, and thank you for joining us. It's brought to you not only by our Lothar Legacy Library, but also Stealth Awareness, Inc., which is my corporation. Now, a lot of people ask what qualifies me to do these kind of programs. Well, along with my love, Patty Dunn, who we first fell in love in 4th grade, of all things, and we didn't see each other for several years in between that and high school, dated in high school, and for some reason we broke up, and 40 years later we've been back together for over 20 years. And she was my introduction to lupus. Frankly, I had no idea what a autoimmune disease was or how disabling it could become. But through Patty, we got back together, and at that time she became a board member for the Lupus Foundation of America here in North Carolina. Ultimately board chair. She stepped down and became president and CEO at a time when the organization needs some reorganization. And a couple of years later, I became board chair, actually came onto the board, and 2 years after that became board chair also. So put it all together, about 20 years plus of being associated with lupus and doing other meetings, going to meetings on lupus, the summits on lupus, talking to people who know my position in the organization, and that Patty had lupus. They would bring their husbands up to me and say, "Could you tell him," meaning get his act together? And you can't do something like that in 5 minutes. So what I decided to do several years ago, frankly, was to put a book together. And for some reason the title came up. It was Caregivers Wear Plaid. And the reason being is that when you're dealing as a caregiver advocate with your wife, there are a lot of things that you have to deal with as a caregiver, and a lot of things that you need to know as an advocate also, dealing with your doctors, the hospitals, and frankly other people that you're going to run into along the way. So that's basically why we're here with this series today. You can get the book. It's on Amazon. You can go to Lothar Legacy Library and order it there through Amazon, and follow along, because we're going to be doing several of these videos to help you along in the process of what does it mean to be a caregiver, how can I be a better caregiver, and how can I be a good advocate to my wife, enhance those communications between each other. And here's the first slide. Think first of her before you. Now, why do I say that? Well, we as guys sometimes think of ourselves. We're busy people. We're working hard. Your wife could probably be in a job working hard. But keep in mind what's going through the back of her mind is she's sick. She's fearful of it. She's fearful of potentially losing her job. If you have children, what is this going to mean to them? She's always tired. She finds herself getting aggravated at times. You and her are not getting along as best as you used to. And the reality is that's a lot of truth, frankly. But you have to realize that she's the most important person in your life, besides your children if you have any. At least in a relationship, that holds a lot of truth. Always think win-win. And if you lose a few, what's the big whoop? A happy marriage needs compromise and balance to survive, especially when living with someone who has an autoimmune disease such as lupus. Insight number 3, seek to understand what your wife is dealing with. Education and awareness are vital to finding civility and joy together. Learn everything you can about lupus or the autoimmune disease or circumstances you and your wife live and deal with ongoing. Insight number 4, problems are not solved through guilt. Solutions are uncovered through interactions. I mean by that communications, recognition, and awareness of the other. Talk your feelings out. You'll be surprised about the support you receive from your wife as long as you are supporting her needs. Now, Patty and I, when we have communications issue, we're getting into an argument, and we do from time to time, what we do is go into the bedroom, and she gets on the bed, and I get on the bed and said, okay, let's talk it out. What's bothering you? And what's bothering me? We don't take it personally. What it does is it forces me as the man who doesn't always want to confront issues to have to do that. And what it does is it opens up better communications and understanding from both sides. Men and women don't think alike most often. And this is an important thing to do. So I encourage you that if you're really having communications issues, and I encourage your loved one also, come on, Buster, let's get in the bedroom, let's get on the bed, and let's talk through this, because I need to help you understand. And I need to better understand, or you need to understand me and what's going on with me. Part of that was very simple. I enjoy going out and playing golf, but you know what? I began to get guilt feelings while I was out on the golf course, knowing that Patty was at home and she wasn't able to do anything at that time other than watch TV. Sean's out having a good time, Patty's at home and watching television. When I got home, I know it was really beginning to bug me. So I said, come on, we need to get into the bedroom and talk about something, and we did. And she says, I don't feel guilty at all about you doing that. I need you to go and do that. You have to take care of your life also and have enjoyment in it too, and you enjoy golf. Go play. So I do that. And but I can tell you, it was really building up in me. Was I doing the right thing? Did I have a right to go out and play golf when she was as sick as she is? So just a little bit of insight into that. Alrighty, let's go into insight number 5. Putting the puzzle back together, the new normalcy. Life is about change. Don't let lupus define you or your loved one. Understand there are limitations and accept them graciously. Cherish the time together and make each moment count. The puzzle of togetherness first comes with love for one another. And let lupus rekindle that flame if that is what's needed. And if not, know that love can conquer all relationship issues. Insight number 6, bring balance into your life. Now, lupus calls the shots if one allows it to. Lupus is not mind over matter. However, a positive attitude is very important. It determines how many energy passes your wife will get every day. Now, what's an energy pass? Your wife will probably on a daily basis get anywhere from none to maybe 7 or 8 energy passes. And those energy passes are used up. For example, going to the bathroom could use up an energy pass. Taking a shower could use up an energy pass. Driving to work could take up an energy pass. Having a conversation with somebody can take up an energy pass. And so it's important for your wife to clearly understand that she only has so many energy passes on a daily basis. We talk about that in the book Caregivers Wear Plaid, where you'll get more information on it. Okay, so plans must be flexible on what to do at home, work, where you go, and what you can do. Your wife will learn to manage her lupus on her terms, and you need to do the same thing and respect her terms because she has no choice and you do. Insight number 7, manage what you can. You cannot be all things to your wife. She cannot be all things to herself unless she recognizes her limitations and yours too. Insight number 8, patience is a virtue. It's tough to maintain under adverse health conditions. I understand that. It affects everyone. Talk about any frustrations gently and ask for suggestions and ideas to limit your frustrations and hers too. Here again, we go back to going to the bedroom and having that open discussion. Insight number 9, do not ignore your symptoms. Anger, anxiety, frustration, confusion, guilt. Recognize your needs and do something about them. Living with someone who has lupus is stressful. To be a good caregiver, you must see to your own needs. Give yourself permission to take a break and don't feel guilty about it, as we talked about before. Find someone who will listen to you and vent your feelings, and often that is someone else who is in your shoes. It's not healthy to keep things inside because it'll explode. Recognizing loving with all your heart means you have to be fit enough to do it. Being a good caregiver is not about you in her eyes. It's about her. She deals with the day-to-day effects of her disease and often does not believe others, especially you, to understand. Be kind, caring, supportive, loving, and be yourself and take time for yourself. It's a good conversation to have with your wife if you have not already done so. Again, I tell you, go back to the bedroom or wherever you guys feel comfortable to have that conversation. Insight 10, there is a higher being. What is, and what will be. Place your hands in those of your faith and know there's a universal power that guides all of us. Embrace it and find comfort with it. Okay, Insight 11, communications, communications, communications. We've talked about this, haven't we? Check in on your wife periodically during the day if you're at work. Are you doing okay? Is there anything I need to stop and get on the way home? Your wife needs that emotional support, knowing that you are there and that you care. Touch points 3 times a day is not overdoing it, whether by phone, email, messaging, etc. Your wife needs to know unequivocally that you are in her corner. If you're overdoing this, she'll let you know. Being a caregiver is always a balancing act. Insight 12, always tell her you love her with all your heart. Women cannot hear these magic words enough, especially when dealing with lupus or any other autoimmune disease. It is natural for them to begin to feel insecure with their partner. Do they still want to be with me? Do they still love me? Will they always be there with me? Insecurity can lead to the untrusting of others, especially you. Insecurity leads to stress, and that is the one thing you as a caregiver do not want to add to. Knowing the person on the inside, not what you are seeing on the outside. It's keeping her confidence in herself, which is the opposite of insecurity. It's so important. So though you may not like what you see happening to your wife, know there's an exceptional person inside who needs your help, or needs your understanding, and trusting love to sustain her during the more difficult times and enjoyment during those better moments. Insight number 13, allow daily life to be as normal as possible. Yeah, that's true. As a caregiver, you want to do all that you can for your loved one, but it's also important to allow her to do what she can do for herself. The simple task of getting up from her chair to walk into the kitchen to fill her glass with water is an exercise that helps build or maintain her muscles. It's doing something for herself that gives her a level of independence, an independence that is slowly being taken away from her. It reinforces her identity that at least things at home are somewhat normal, comfortable, and secure. I trust that you'll go out and get our book, Caregivers Wear Plaid. You'll be able to follow along on some of the chapters in this series of videos of Caregivers Wear Plaid. I also encourage you to go out to the Lothar Legacy Library. There you will find other books that not only my father has written, my brother has written, but also that I have written. And some of those books are downloadable, some of those are out of print, and we're in the process of trying to get those that are out of print republished. So otherwise, this is brought to you by my company, Stealth Awareness Inc. I hope you go out and have a wonderful day, and always remember, Amor Vincit Omne. Thank you, and make it a great day.